Lovers Pentacle 1, Love and Madness in South Florida, Chapter 2, Seven of Swords. We don't have to go if you don't want to, said Kain. I'm not even a university student, so I had no earthly business going to a sorority party. It is just a party, and there's nothing wrong with going there just to have a couple of beers, said Karina, giving a fake smile. And it will save me the trouble of cooking up something, said Kain, added, giving a sly smile. And are you always complaining that we do nothing fun together? The night came and the two showed up at the party. Karina couldn't remember the last time she had been to a stag party. She had been so focused on her classes to bother with matters of the mortal world. Karina wore her skimpy marlon dress decorated with oranges and leaves. And she had curled up her hair and she had worn her cheapest plastic accessories. And with her high heels she was tall enough to reach Kain's shoulder. Kain arrived a little later after sending his grandma to Uncle Gen's house, and since Esther had fallen once and broken her hip, it became the popular opinion that she should not spend her time alone. And as much as Esther hated the chaotic household populated by Gen's twin daughters, she hoped that Kain would meet a nice girl at the party. Kain came dressed in the first junk that fell out of his closet, this being a green tank top and orange shorts, and he had no sense of fashion, and he left the gun at home, and instead he brought a fully charged taser. Karina saw the device sticking out of Kain's pocket, and she commented, "Since when do you carry a weapon?" "Since high school, though back then I was only able to sneak in a box cutter knife," said Kain. "Of course nobody knew since I never had to make use of it." "Sometimes I feel like I don't know you," said Karina, narrowing her eyes. "You will know me if you spend less time trying to change me. And when have I ever nitpicked anything that you have ever done?" said Kain before going to dance with another woman. Kain tortured Karina by dancing with another woman for 2 hours, and Karina boiled in her jealous rage while she rubbed off against random guys. And she tried kissing one within Kain's line of sight, and Kain yawned, already used to Karina's childish tantrums. Kain turned his head to look at the skank that had invited him to the party. The one was dressed in one outfit that left little to the imagination. And she gave a shrill laughter, and her shrill laughter deeply annoyed Kain. "She even laughs the same," said Kain more to himself. "I can't hear you," said the woman, and she took Kain's hand before saying, "I want to show you my room, and we can talk more quietly there." Kain allowed himself to be taken away by that strange woman, and running behind the two was the jealous Karina. If Kain slept with another woman while the two of them were together, Karina was going to leave him for good. This is at least what she told herself over and over while she simmered with murderous rage. Kain entered the other woman's bedroom, and this maiden was a ginger, skinny twig with brown eyes and a pasty face covered in freckles. "What was your name again?" asked Kain. "Eugenia," said Eugenia. "Where are you from?" "From here," said Kain. And he looked at her collage board and said, "Are these from all of your trips?" "Yes, I have been to Paris, to China, to Japan," said Eugenia, bragging about being well-traveled. "It must be nice being rich," retorted Kain. "Rich, please. I have more than $200,000 in credit card debt, and don't even get me started as far as my student loans are concerned," lied Eugenia, laughing. She was indeed a rich heiress. Karina had her face glued to the door to eavesdrop, and a guy tried to get her attention, but Karina pushed him aside. For one so pretty, she had a lot of strength when she was in a rage. "Who was that girl you were with? Is she like your little sister or something?" asked Eugenia. "Karina is my pet cat. She comes and goes as she pleases, and during the rare occasion when she's in a good mood, she lets me sleep with her," explained Kain. "Karina hasn't been declawed yet, so try not to get on her bad side." Kain opened the door, and his mouth, seeing Karina eavesdropping, Kain beckoned her inside and much to Eugenia's annoyance. Eugenia looked at Karina over the top, and she wasn't her type, but Eugenia didn't want to dismiss Karina out of fear of being called racist. Eugenia decided that a little moonshine was needed in order to make the threesome happen. Though, truth be told, Eugenia was only interested in Kain, and to get the private party started, Eugenia brought out drinks, and she added a little acid into the mix in order to liven the mood. And before Karina drank it, Kain took the glass and he shook his head. Why is it that you people drug every person you run into? Asked Kain. You people, I'm sorry, Kain, said Eugenia. I assume that you like to run with the wild horses, plus you look a little tense, so I thought that you could use a shield pill. You still haven't answered my question, said Kain with a hostile tone in his voice. Why was your first instinct to drug me? Well, look at you, said Eugenia, laughing nervously. Just because I shop for clothing at a flea market doesn't make me a crackhead, retorted Kain. First of all, that wasn't crack. It was a microdosage of ecstasy. And studies have shown the positive benefits of microdosages, said Eugenia, folding her arms while she defended her lifestyle. A century ago, scientists used to say that lead was good for you, said Karina, interrupting the woman she perceived as a threat. Forget the shield pill, said Eugenia before gulping down one of the drinks. Going straight to the point, she said to Kain, do you want to fuck me or not? I will, after you answer my question, insisted Kain. What answer do you want me to give? I don't know why I did what I did, alright? This is just something I do every time I'm about to sleep with someone at a party, protested Eugenia, flailing her arms hysterically. Sounds like the ritual of a serial killer, said Kain. If you don't remember why you do something, isn't it about time you take a step back and carefully evaluate such a compulsory behavior? Everyone is different, and what would you have done if Karina had suffered an overdose because of your so-called microdosage? It wasn't micro because I was able to see it. Get out, said Eugenia, pointing to the door. Not until you provide me with a satisfactory answer to my question, and I will ask you again, and this time pay attention. Why is your first instinct to drug anyone that behaves in a way that is slightly inconvenient for you, yelled Kain. Do you also drug small children, Eugenia? And what type of a monster does it to a small child? Answer me. The commotion drew the attention of the frat guys, and they entered the room with the intention of throwing Kain out of the sorority. And before they had a chance to do so, Kain tased one of the guys and he punched another. And he brought out his badge from his pocket and he called for backup. And he got Eugenia arrested for possession of a microdosage of an illegal substance. Karina had not expected for this night to turn out like this, and Kain left quite satisfied with his police work. Karina spent the rest of the night as quiet as a mouse, and she had never seen Kain behave that way. And as soon as Kain fell asleep, Karina left the bedroom and she went to call up Esther. And she hung up the phone immediately when she realized the time. The phone immediately started ringing. Karina unplugged the house phone, complained Kain, who had woken up. Karina picked up the phone. It was Uncle Gen. I was meaning to call you, Karina. So you heard, asked Karina. I heard one version of the truth, said Gen. And what happened exactly? This gang tried to drug us, and when Kain attended a citizen's arrest, her cocked-up buddies attacked us with beers, bottles, and knives and pitchforks. Exaggerated Karina, covering up for her man. I figured that's what happened, said Gen. That addict, what was her name? Eugenia. She claims that Kain was threatening her. No, he asked a simple question. Why are you trying to drug me? Said Karina, and she saw that as a threat displaced because we dare to question her lifestyle. Plus, a person who is flying can get easily spooked. Gen sighed and he went to his office to go deal with the problem that Kain had created, and Gen allowed the university students to get out of jail without any charges. If they didn't cause any problems for Kain, Gen wouldn't show their toxicity report to the university police campus. But that night he attacked me, protested an injured man. And for what his girlfriend tells me, you started it, said Gent. And I have affidavits from 17 other students corroborating her side of the story, and if you bring this issue to court, I promise you that you will go to jail. Gent allowed the rest of the students to leave after giving them a slap on the wrist, and Gent tended to be soft on drug addicts because his little brother Jack was a former user. Eugenia returned to her dorm extremely perturbed by the night's event, and once she was in her home element, she began to the slow process of digesting what had occurred the night before. The only thing she learned from that experience was to never do drugs in front of a police officer. The morning came and Karina had fallen asleep on the couch next to her phone, and she saw that she had a pillow under her head and a blanket that Kain had brought for her. And at times like this she remembered why she loved Kain. The true Kain was thoughtful and considerate. Well, his police officer job is stressful, said Karina, trying to rationalize Kain's unusual behavior. He probably deals with junkies all the time, and it makes sense that he no longer has the patience for their nonsense. Next time that happens, I'm just going to get him to leave with me. Karina allowed for Kain to sleep off his feet, and she went to the kitchen to make breakfast, but then she remembered that Kain didn't like her cooking, and he was always stubbornly insisting on cooking everything himself. Karina returned to the bedroom, and she lay down beside her friend, and Kain was so close to the edge of the bed that he seemed like he might fall off. And Karina, who wanted to cuddle, waited for Kain until Kain was facing her. She then wore her frame into his strong arm, and once she was comfortable, Karina immediately fell asleep. She awoke close to noon when Kain left the bed, and while Kain was showering, Karina entered the bathroom to watch the show. And Kain's bathroom was a clear glass standing shower, and Kain chuckling proceeded to seductively pass the soap all over his side, pectorals, and his lovely neck. The seductive shower had the intended effect, and Karina pounced on him in order to make love in the shower. After this morning workout, the two went to the kitchen, and Karina sat down to wait for her breakfast. Karina sighed and said, "Do you think I'm fat, Kain?" "Again with this? Who called you fat last night?" asked Kain. "A good number of people, but it's not as if I care about their opinions," protested Karina. "How do you want me to make your pancakes?" asked Kain. "Add strawberries, blackberries into the pancake mix," said Karina, focusing on her food. "Are you almost done with school?" asked Kain while making the pancakes. "Almost, but there is this one class that has 2 prerequisites, and I'm bullying my counselor to get her to count that microeconomics class we took in high school." Changing the subject, she said, "What do you want to do today?" "Oh, so you're finally giving me a choice in the matter," asked Kain, sitting down to eat his breakfast. "Tell me, Karina, what activities am I allowed to suggest to you?" "You make it sound as if I'm a control freak," protested Karina, rubbing her temple. "Tell me, what do you want to do? Whatever it is, I'm going to say yes to it, I promise." "You promise to say yes to whatever request I have for you," said Kain, giving a sly smile. "Yes," said Karina, shifting in her seat nervously. "We will do whatever you want today. No request is taboo. And what is it that your heart longs for me to do?" Kain gave a playful smile, and after thinking about it, he said, "I want you to watch with me the latest season of Inuyasha. My computer just finished downloading the episodes." "Can we just watch the Sesshomaru episode? He's the only character I actually care about," protested Karina. "The episodes are our only number, and I have no way of telling when the aristocratic assassin is going to make an appearance," said Kain. "But we can watch something else if you like." Karina was about to suggest seeing something else, but then she noticed that Kain had a bruise on his face from the night before. Karina brought an ice bag from the fridge, and she placed it over his face, and the two watched a couple of episodes from season 6. Kain, frowning with disapproval, went to look for something else to watch, and it felt to him that they were stretching the show in order to bring more money out of the series. And whenever a series got in that mood, Kain immediately lost interest in it, and Karina suggested that they try watching new shows. Kain had downloaded the first episode of a bunch of new anime series, and after failing to find something new to watch, Karina asked, "Do you even like anime anymore, Kain?" "I need a new hobby," said Kain, sighing with disappointment. "For every esclafone, there's thousands of uninspired Eiken clubs." "The ecchi shows are god-awful," said Karina, "and I can't believe there's so many of them, and somebody must lie. Then there wouldn't be so many if there wasn't an audience of brain-dead buffoons who are impressed by a pair of balloons fluttering in the wind." "I sometimes wonder if the makers of those shows have ever seen a real woman, but no matter," said Kain. "I got nothing else planned for my day, so let's do what you want, Karina." "Do you want me to go be my new sidekick?" asked Karina. "Sure, why the hell not," said Kain. "I have nothing better to do with my time in this earth." The friends went to meet the infamous sidekick, and Karina had developed a taste for palm reading and tarot cards and the occult things thanks to Esclafone. And Irina was the first true sidekick that she had ever met, and she was curious to hear what Irina would tell her boyfriend. Both showed up unannounced at Irina's home, and when she knocked on the door, a teenage girl with crazy hair opened the door, and the crazy hair maiden was Irina's granddaughter, Lucero, and her successor. Irina's second side will always skip a generation. "If you're looking for my grandma, she's in the Bucky Den," said Lucero, "and no, she doesn't know the lottery numbers. If she did, do you think we would still be living in this dump?" They made their way towards the Bucky Den, and it had an Olympic-sized pool, 2 slides, and a kiddie pool with a jungle gym. And they found Irina suntanning herself while reading Laughter in the Dark by Nabokov Vladimir. Cain couldn't help but notice the difference between Irina and his grandmother Esther. While Esther was shy about showing skin, Irina was a cool grandma with her sun hat and her bikini and her heart-shaped glass sunglasses and her large Cuban cigar. When Karina showed up with her boyfriend, Irina said, not bothering to look up for her book, "Here's a bag with 2 bathing suits. Instead of worrying about your future, why don't you take a moment to enjoy the present?" Cain got changed into his swimsuit and Karina did the same, and both returned to pester the psychic, and even without a crystal ball, Irina was an expert at reading people. And the former chess champion was always 2 steps ahead of every person she met. And Cain had been skeptical at first, but Karina had shown with a simple action to be the genuine article. "Wow, you really are real," said Cain with a childish smile on his face. "Are there others like you? Or are you like the last of your kind?" "The Spanish Inquisition thinned down our numbers," said Irina dryly while browsing a fashion magazine. "Unlike my ancestors, I know how to keep a low profile." "Oh, I get it. My lips are sealed," said Cain, winking. "That's cute," said Irina. "And if you want a professional card reading, do so during office hours." "Can you just give me a quick look?" insisted Cain, shoving his palm into Irina's face. "Pay for the pizza and the sodas, and then I will see," said Irina, annoyed. Cain paid for the food and the sodas for Irina's grandchildren, Jana Maria, Lucero, Eufrasio, and the youngest, Marlene. And while the kids were shouting down, Irina gave a cursory glance at Cain's palm. Irina commented, "Your lifeline has 2 interruptions." "What does it mean?" asked Karina, leaning forward on her seat. Irina took Cain in Karina's hand to examine them closely, and the fact that she was looking at them so intently did not inspire the lovers much confidence. Changing the subject, Irina said to Karina, "I see 1 marriage, 2 marriages, 3, 4, and 17 in total, with the most recent divorce taking place 2 months ago." "Oh, you're looking at the times we have broken up," said Karina, laughing. "My mistake. I normally see the word marriage, but these lines can be interpreted as any type of romantic relationship," said Irina, giggling, and she seemed to want to say more, but she changed her mind. Irina said while looking at Cain's hand, "Your hand tells me that you're quite content with your love life, and this contrasts with Karina's hand, and you see how this line starts in the pinky and it ends in the middle finger. This tells me that her love is egotistical." Karina frowned, not amused by listening to the truth, and Irina, laughing, said, "If you don't want to hear the truth, I could just tell you the sweet lies you long to hear." Irina brought on her spectacles to look at Cain's hand more closely, and she saw small marks on the hard line, and these lines represented 3 different traumas. And the way she was staring at the hand almost made it seem as she was having a vision. Irina blinked twice and she went to focus on a different line. "This straight line across the middle of your palm means that you're a realist, Cain, and you see the world for what it is and not for what it could be. And see how it contrasts with Karina's wavy lines. Your lover is a dreamer, and her mental lines show that she has a short attention span, and both have long lifeline, and this interruption in your lifeline show that you have experienced several changes in your lifestyle. This trend is further reinforced by your log line, and your lifestyle is dictated by external forces, and your girlfriend, her broken log line, shows that she is the master of her own fate." And she added, "Whether your life turns out for the better or for worse depends entirely on you, Karina." "Grandma, you forgot to mention the elements," retorted Lucero. "Ah, yes, the elements," said Irina. "My protege, why don't you do the honors?" Lucero examined Cain's hand and she said, "This is an earth type of hand, and you are materialistic and stubborn." And Lucero added, looking at Karina's hand, "And this is the hand of an egotistical fire type. And you are also impulsive and optimistic, and that is it for today. That will be $100. "About the food," protested Cain. "But not dessert," retorted Lucero. Cain bought dessert for the brats, and then he went to the pool to burn the empty calories. And he swam last while Karina played catch with the kids. Karina, becoming tired of playing, swam over to Cain's side to interrupt his workout. And she protectively wrapped her arms around his handsome shoulders to have her boyfriend ferry her about the pool. And Karina began to ponder why she was still with Cain, and she thought about all her previous relationships, and they all started nice enough, but as soon as they dropped their masks, Karina ran for the hills. "Cain, why won't you marry me?" asked Karina. "I have no guarantee that you won't divorce me as soon as you get bored or angry at me," said Cain, being brutally honest. "You always leave me, Karina. You always leave." If I stay for an entire year, will you marry me? Asked Karina. Well, you heard the psychic. You are the master of your own fate. As for me, my life is always changing due to outside influences, said Kain. But do you love me? Insisted Karina. You are my best friend, so I own you the truth, said Kain, turning around to face Karina. When you are with me, everything is alright in my world, and when you leave me, I miss you. If that isn't love, I don't know what it is. Let's get married right away, said Karina happily. I think we should see other people, said Kain, swimming away. Kain, you jerk, yelled Karina, splashing her friend. The sun set over the Bucky den, and the lovers wanted to linger, but the place closed at dusk. The lovers drove back home in order to wash away the pool water, and when Kain entered within, he found his grandma and his uncle again entertaining guests. And the guests were Eugenia and her parents and the family lawyer. Eugenia was a rich heiress, but she liked to cosplay as a pauper. The guests regarded Kain with a look of pity, and Kain had told the visitors a version of Kain's truth. And Kain, annoyed by the situation, locked himself in his room, and he put on his headset and he blasted at full volume into his eardrum system over down. Mostly toxicity. I was just telling our guests how Kain's mother died of an overdose, said Kain. And such a tragic end to such a beautiful, kind, loving woman. And like Eugenia, she fell for the microdosage myth. And over time, the dosages grew bigger and bigger till she became a shadow of her former self. My grandson was only trying to help Eugenia, said Esther, making excuses for her grandson. And he saw the path that you were taking, and he's all too aware of his final destination. Do you know any good rehab centers? Said Eunice's stepmother over here, and we weren't aware that our daughter was using again. Mom, that won't be necessary. That was a one-time thing, lied Eugenia, and she added, and if Kain wanted to help me, he didn't need to be a psychopath about it. Well, to be fair, Kain told you he was a cop, and you had to be pretty stupid to do drugs in front of an officer, said Karina, trying to shame her competition. And she just poured her microdoses in our drink without even asking. I mean, what kind of a psycho bimbo does that to a person they just met? And I wasn't twice about eating or drinking anything that this woman prepares for you. Is that really what happened? Asked Michael, the father of Eugenia. You little liar. The parents and the lawyer had a hearty laugh at Eugenia's expense, and the laughter was echoed by Uncle Glenn and Karina. Eugenia annoyed, said, now that bygones are bygones. I wanted to ask Kain to out on an official date, and I promised to leave the roofies at home. Scout's honor. What are roofies? Asked Eunice. It is the day rape drug, translated again. And Eunice dragged her stepdaughter out of the house, and Eugenia was going to a rehab center whether she wanted to or not. And Eugenia laughing said, I was kidding, Mom, jeez. Bye-bye, said Karina, closing the door, and she opened it one last time before saying, and don't come back. Bill, I hope that is the last time we see that degenerate, said Kain, sighing with relief, and he reached into his pocket and he handed Karina a key. And used it to enter the boy's bedroom, and for the love of God, do not ask him about his mother. I do not want Kain to fall into despair again. Alright, so that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye.